Hello, hello, Linda here from Linda Active and little Minnie in her donut bed. Maria, this is your workout. Today we're doing a walk and talk with mobility exercises added in for 20 minutes straight. And we're going to get started just walking in place. And as I always say, if you want to walk around the room, you can. And if you don't like any of the exercises I'm going to be doing, which are going to change around every 60 seconds, then just walk and just have fun. The whole point of this workout is to enjoy it. So Maria, what we're talking about today is unrealistic expectations. I didn't watch the whole Barbie movie, but I watched the very beginning of it because they happen to put it on Netflix now. And I saw the little part where basically the little girls were playing with baby dolls. And they were pretending to be mums, feeding them, changing them, things like that. And that was all, pretty normal. And I had baby dolls as well as a child. And then it morphed into, all of a sudden, Barbie came about. And all of a sudden, instead of these little children playing with baby dolls, nurturing, like pretending to be mums, which is eventually maybe going to be their role, now they have these fully grown, let's do arm circles, fully grown 20-something-year-old women dolls to play with who had, unrealistic proportions, to say the least, and sexy clothing, and all of this stuff that basically young girls who play with dolls, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, I don't think I was playing with dolls anymore when I was 10. I was into other stuff, but some kids are. Let's go to the back. They have these fully grown women dolls. And at the time as a child, I never thought this was weird. I just thought, oh yeah, because you see women around you all the time, your mum, grandma, aunties, and they're all kind of older women that you sometimes look up to, sometimes have a really good relationship with. Let's go side to side with little hips. So I want you to bring your elbow down to your hip and just start really pushing into that so that you feel your hips opening and warming up. So yeah, I never really thought it was that ridiculous. And in the Barbie movie, the kind of selling point was to empower young girls because there were Barbie dolls that were doing all different professions. Some were nurses, some were, professionals. I don't even remember thinking about that as a child. I just always chose my doll depending on how pretty the dress looked. I didn't really think, oh yeah, she's a doctor, I want to be a doctor. But that was kind of their selling point at the time, which is pretty much just a way to get parents to buy those dolls for the kids. But yeah, I just didn't at the time. Let's go side to side and reach towards the toe. Didn't think much of it. But obviously, in hindsight, I can see that it greatly would have affected my outlook on what I wanted to look like, perhaps, subliminally. And maybe, just maybe, that was the first kind of seed planted in unrealistic expectations about body image. Maybe that's it. Now, obviously, with movies and social media, that is exacerbated greatly. But the fact that we give young girls these little dolls that are a lot older than them with these unrealistic proportions could well be, heels in front, could very well be the start of an epidemic of body image issues. So, unrealistic expectations. Often they come in because we're little children, and perhaps our parents, even though they did the best that they could do at the time, maybe they were super busy, maybe they had lots of other children, 2 jobs, studying as well, who knows what was going on for them. Maybe it seemed for us that we had to be the perfect child and not rock the boat or cause any issues in order to be loved. And this isn't everyone, because obviously there's some children that were the ones that did get all the attention. But in some cases, now we're going to go back and forward. We're going to do a rocking action. Push your hip forward and then stretch your hamstring. In some cases, children who want to obviously get love from their parents, they find ways of getting them that are unhealthy. And a lot of the time they become people pleasers. And I'm speaking mostly from my own experience and from the experience of people that I've talked to in my circle, and also from podcasts that I've heard. But often those children who become people pleasers, don't want to rock the boat, want to just be the perfect child, and that's the way that they feel they get love from their parents. Those people grow up having all sorts of issues in the future as adults, because that people pleasing, we're going to go to the other side, back and forward, that people pleasing tendency doesn't go away. Push your hip forward and then hamstring. So that people pleasing tendency mixed together with unrealistic expectations, not just about body image, but about what it means to be a woman or man, all of the roles that have been assigned by society, and then social media saying that not only do you have to do those roles, but you have to do them perfectly. It just breeds a society of people who just don't like themselves, a society of people who feel like they're failing and like they can never be perfect and they can never do anything or live up to the expectation of how they should be behaving. Let's do hip circles, hip circles. Don't worry about the beat of the music. I want up and around, up and around. So, let me ask you a question. I asked myself this question recently because I know I definitely have this tendency. All my life I had the tendency to just want to do everything perfectly and to please everyone around me, and it was exhausting. Luckily, through the sickness I went through, I was able to get to the point where I had to look out for myself. So I have dropped a lot of those tendencies, so I can speak from my own experience. But up until that point, I very much was living in that people-pleasing, perfectionism world. And I want to ask you a question. Do you ever think, let's go knee lift and then stretch across, knee lift and stretch across. Do you ever think, what do I really want about any given situation? Say there's a birthday party or some gathering that you're expected to go to, maybe it's a family gathering. Do you ever even stop to give yourself that minute and ask yourself, do I want to go to this? Do you consider your own needs? You know how many people would answer no to that? Do you know how many people would say, I just go because it's expected of me and it's the right thing to do? Who's it right by? Society? Your family? They're probably all doing the same thing that you are. They're probably all just going to stuff because it's expected. Change sides. See, the problem with people pleasing is that you are not being authentic to yourself, right? You're not really doing the things that you want to do. You're not saying yes to the things you want to say yes to, or no to the things you don't want to do. And guess what happens then? You become resentful. You actually don't want to do half the stuff, but you feel you have to. You push it all down inside, making you feel even worse because you're not dealing with any of the stuff. And then sometimes it comes to a head and you end up blowing up at your partner, your kids, whoever, because you feel your needs are not being met. But guess whose fault that was? 2 steps and reach. 2 steps and reach. Step, step, reach. Step, step, reach. Guess whose fault it actually was? Well, society at large, sometimes our upbringing, yes, but you know who else? Your own. Because you're the one that got dressed, that went and bought the cake, that went and wrote the card, that went and did whatever you did that you didn't really want to do over and over and over and over and over and over again. So one might think, yeah, but how do you get out of that cycle? You know, people are going to hate me if I decide not to show up for family gatherings or go to people's hens nights or whatever it is. People are going to look down on me. But you know what? That's actually not true. Let's wood chop down on one side and up. You can hold onto your fingers like this, or you can just keep your arms separate and straight arms down and up. The funny thing is, you would think that. You would think that people would get annoyed at you and would think you're a bad person when you start to take care of yourself and do the things that you want to do instead of doing what you think you should do. But the opposite is often true, because what you're doing is you're basically getting your power back. You are choosing, rather than letting life just happen to you, you are choosing what you do and do not want to do, according how you feel inside, according to your own intuition. Right? So not just numbing yourself out, other side, but learning to listen to your intuition that you had as a child. All children do what they want to do. And guess what they want to do? They want to find joy. They want to do things that are fun all day long, every day. And they never want to stop doing the things that are fun all day long, every day. But as adults, because of unrealistic expectations, we get told that we shouldn't be doing those things, that they're pointless, that they're, frivolous, that they're not going to get us where we want to go or where society wants us to go. And so we stop having fun. We stop putting our needs first, which is very sad, because then we lose touch with who we really are. And often, we're going to do one knee and one kick. Twist across. Don't worry about the beat of the music. I want a full rotation. It's a balance challenge as well. We often lose ourselves in that process. So, in order to find ourselves again, and in order to be able to trust ourselves again, and in order to be able to trust our intuition again, all of those things take time. And in this short walk, there's no way I can address all those things for you, because each little section has got so much to unpack. And I only know from my own experience, right? So there's so much more still. But what I want you to take away from this is that simple question. That simple question, what do I want? Other side. Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to stay in this job? Do I really want to stay in this relationship? Do I really want to do this exercise? Maybe you just hate exercising and you need to find another way to move that is joyful to you. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's hiking, maybe it's something completely different. Maybe you are killing yourself exercising every day, but you know that you don't enjoy it. So then, why are you doing it? The last thing I want to say, because I don't have a huge amount of time left, so ask yourself that question often as you can, even about little things, because you can learn to hear yourself. The other thing I want to mention is that we're going to change this. March, pull down, and then in front. Up and pull, in front and pull. So I really want your elbows to come towards your waist. Now if you want to speed it up and pull, in front and pull, marching in place. Deep breath. Front and pull. So, the other thing I wanted to mention is, you think people are not going to like you if you don't do what you're expected to do, okay? Think of it like this. Think of everything as energy. Everyone has their own little furnace, right? In the middle of them. They've got all this energy that they're born with. When the baby's born, it doesn't question anything. It doesn't have all of these weird kind of hang-ups about appearance, about having to do something to be worthy. Forward and reach one arm. It just is, and it expects to be loved, right? So we're all born with this perfect furnace of love inside us. From that place, if we maintain that furnace, we can love many people in many ways. We can affect many people positively. But if you start doing all of these things that you don't actually enjoy doing, you are extinguishing parts of that furnace. Another way to look at it, and I thought of this today, is imagine that you're a magnet, and the strong, love, positive magnet energy inside of you can draw so many people to you and can cause you to be able to love so many people. But if you, like when you put a fridge magnet on the fridge, we're going to go the other way, and you put too many pieces of paper in between the magnet and the fridge, guess what? The strength of the magnet ends up getting so weak that all the paper falls, right? So do you get where I'm going with this? If you spread yourself too thin, doing things that take away from your power, you will not be able to hold any of it anymore. You could get to the point where I got to when I got sick 3 years ago. I lost it all. I dropped all the papers. And I literally had to try and get my own power back. And it was a long process. So, why not start now? Hopefully you're still healthy. Hopefully there's nothing really major. Out, in, out, in. Hopefully there's nothing really major going on in your life that's terrible. Hopefully you are doing some things that you enjoy, and there's only a few things that maybe you are doing because you're expected to. Why not start now? Start to get your power back, because when you have all of that furnace of love energy within you, that's when you can really truly service other people and love other people. Let's just start with the other leg first. It's not the other way around. Everyone knows that if you spread yourself too thin, eventually something's going to give, right? So you're already doing something good. You're already giving yourself some me time with this exercise that you're doing, and that's amazing. So take it one step further. Let's just march in place. March in place, big arms, big legs. This is the last 60 seconds. So ask yourself often, do I really want to do this? Is this from within a yes, or from within a no? Learn to get in touch with your true self, your authentic self. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's going out for a hike in nature, just spending time in quiet to really tune in with your body and the sensations you feel when you are in certain circumstances. Are you anxious when you're around certain people? Are you happy when you're around other people? Learn to get back in touch with yourself. Honestly, life is too short for you to do everything that everyone else wants you to, to do what you think everyone else wants you to do. We're done. To do what you think everyone else wants you to do. But they're doing the same thing, and they don't want to do it either half the time. So is that not the contradiction of life? We think this is the expectation, but guess what? The expectation, you're putting it on yourself. And you have the power to say yes or to say no. No one is holding a gun to your head. No one. You need to stop over-controlling yourself, over-policing yourself. Just learn to be kinder to yourself and to listen to your nervous system, listen to your body, and just ask that simple question. Do I really want to do this or do I not? And that is it, Maria. I didn't know what topic to choose for your walk and talk because you didn't say. So I hope this topic was okay for you. It just was on my heart today. It's something that I've really been working on. And I hope it helps someone out there. I hope you enjoyed the mobility aspect. I tried to put some stretching in there, some rotations in there. Hope it's what you wanted. Comment below. And I look forward to walking and talking again with you very soon. Bye for now.